Damez, I'm back with my agenda. Never follow rules, I want my funeral magenta. Just to piss off all my fucking homophobic relatives. Growing more imperative that I control my narratives. So I spit fire through this pop filter. La la, you got to have the Zaza for me to shop with you. Raising my rates and all control fates. But if you fuck with me, I bring your fucking life to a stop quicker. I'm in your throat like some hot liquor. Roll through your hood like a drop shipper. Enhance like a stock filter. I think if I was straight, then maybe I would pop quicker. Playing the lotto, I'm on the reposado. Can't be in my vicinity if you possessing maybes. Or fragile masculinity like boozy tip a baby. It's crazy cause the very clothes you wearing was designed by the same group of people used to trying to keep behind. You ain't worried about the kids, you just use them as a shield to hide behind the bigotry of how you really feel. Ain't no think pieces in emails as long as it's some females that's kissing in the backseat. And you can check my rap sheet. I'm running circles around these washed up rappers like a track meet. Reflexing like an athlete. I'm jigging to the backbeat. Work selling in the trap meet. And my niggas pack heat. Suggest to keep it cool before they bust and make your hat leak. And I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. That's Damez, he go crazy on the mics and shit. Rolling blunts super straight on the pipes and shit. Fat ass with the fucking tiger stripes and shit. I get faded, grab my pen and then I write some shit about this crazy world we living in. My homies there to giving in, the doors there to kicking in. I never care about fitting in. No, we've been in E-class and motherfucker speed fast. I caught me a peach pass and reach for my weed stash. All sports teams, but I'm ballin', nigga. Better have a money move if you callin', nigga. It's my time to shine and you know I'm stallin', nigga. Damez going up, ain't that shit appallin', nigga? And I ain't even really in my prime yet. But I just been grinding like the time said. Mindset on the fucking money, not a bitch though. I can tell you broke, but I ain't never been a snitch though. Came up on cassettes and CDs on the block. I don't smoke no cigarettes, but the trees stay in stock. It's the DAM to the IEN. And if I stand out, nigga, why be in? It's motherfuck the cops and motherfuck the ops. My niggas got good credit, we talking trades and stocks. I'ma always keep it real, that's what I get from my pops. They'll give me a fucking bullet before they give me my props. I got this war in my mind, but I don't know who winning. All this Patron in my body and my head keeps spinning. Yo, how I'ma get to heaven? I mean, if I keep sinning, I swear life would drive you crazy, man. Just keep living. Oh God, I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. Damez, and I ain't even really scratched the surface. No, defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is just a clown without a circus. Damez. Hip hop. This rap shit. It's just in me.
What is going on, everyone? Hello. I hope everyone is doing well on this Sunday evening. Cut this background music down some. The reason why I have this type of dark music playing in the background is because, unfortunately, we have to continue having conversations or trying to generate conversations around the obvious continual erasure of queer existence. And in this live, we're not just going to deal with just the queer phobia that is in America, but also in another continent, especially for us in the Black community, the continent of Africa. We're going to talk about some very deep shit. We're also going to read, some of the articles that are listed in the description box below, as well as 2 videos that we're going to watch on this evening. I was trying to come and do this live earlier, but I had to take certain videos and alter them because I'm not trying to get struck on my channel again. Okay, I've already dealt with that. And I'm just trying to find smarter ways to still keep these conversations going. As you can see on the screen, from your left to your right, that is King Ry'Yon, also known as, Ronald Diggs, which we're going to get into a little bit of his backstory and then use a video where individual uses his situation as a springboard to talk about a lot of the issues in the black community pertaining to the trap culture and just how destructive it has become. And also, in a sense, he challenges the queer community. He say, where are y'all at? Even though the queer community are always the individuals who are in the streets, who are the ones that are going to these candlelight vigils, the ones that know these individuals personally. When is the community of blackness going to get involved? Okay, we also have, unfortunately, another trans woman of color who was unalived, Miss Sasha Williams in Las Vegas. And then we're gonna also, again, like I said, travel from the United States over to South Africa, okay, where South Africans were fighting for queer protections and representation. And as we already see now in Uganda, and there are other countries following suit, okay, in reference to creating draconian laws that destroy and erase queer existence. So this is not just an American thing. This is a humanity thing. And the way that we deal with it is horrible. And I also have this young child here who happens to have rainbow colors on their hands. The reason why I included this young person on this thumbnail is because the hope and goal of the queer existence is to make sure that queer youth coming up behind us have something beautiful, fruitful, and life-giving and healthy to look forward to. Because the queer adults still have to fight for their life. We're going to get into it all, okay? But before we get into it all, okay? And let me know, is the background music too loud? I didn't know it was going to be this damn, like, bells and shit. Sound like we in damn Quan Chi's or Shang Tsung's flesh pits or something. Cut this down some. Before we get into that, okay, copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this video and this live belong to their respective owners, and I or this channel does not claim any right over them. What's going on, King Deshaun? What's going on, Queen Stevie? What's going on, Queen Spicy? So again, this live is going to be a little lengthy. They was kind of blowing up, okay, the DMs. Like I said, tagging me in the DMs. Bubs, pay attention. So I did, and I'm going to give you guys a pretty lengthy one. It's been a minute since I've done some queer-centered commentary in reference to what's happening to us objectively, unfortunately, in the world as we see. Okay, so listen to this while you're doing something. I'm going to have some visuals on the screen if you want to see it. I kind of had to blur them, put some fake CGI smoke in front of it, and put this big ass text that says edited for YouTube on there. So if you want to see the video in its original format, okay, You can definitely click those links in the description box below to see it for yourself, but I'm just going to use them again as springboards for the conversation. So before we get into some of the darker aspects of this stuff, let's start off with a article that is from PBS. Okay, again, that is in the description box below. Give me 1 second so I can go ahead and take a sip of water. One moment. Deshaun says, since you put that kid up there, I'm afraid of the queer kids because remember when I sent you the gay man that had experiences when his father tried to hire a prostitute to have sex with him? Yep. Horrible. And again, if we're going to protect children, let's protect children all across the board, okay? But anyway, let's go ahead and go to that article by PBS, and it reads, Republican states challenge new Title IX rules protecting queer students. You know, we've been talking about Title IX in one of the previous lives that I've done, okay? About it just literally including the queer community, not excluding heterosexuality, but including other aspects of the human experience and human expressions, okay? Republican states are filing a barrage of legal challenges against the Biden administration's new expanded campus sexual assault rules, saying they overstep the president's authority and undermine Title IX anti-discrimination law. At least 3 federal lawsuits were filed on Monday seeking to have the new rules overturned. Cases were filed in Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas, with backing from a combined 9 Republican-led states. Tennessee and West Virginia also promised a multi-state response on Tuesday. The lawsuits are the first to challenge Biden's new Title IX rules, which expand protections to queer students and add new safeguards for victims of sexual assault. The policy was finalized in April and takes effect in August. The Education Department did not immediately respond to the lawsuits. Central to the dispute is a provision expanding Title IX to queer students. The 1972 law forbids discrimination based on sex in education. Under the new rules, Title IX will also protect against discrimination based on sexual orientation and or gender identity. Texas lawsuit called it a federal overreach that attempts to bring radical social change to the nation's schools. Attorney General Ken Paxton argued the 1972 law was meant to forbid discrimination based on biological sex only. And speaking of the name Ken Paxton, I believe I did a live about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, where he was invited to sit down and have a is it him or was it Gregory Abbott? It's probably Gregory Abbott, my bad. I got him conflated, sorry. This final rule tells states and other regulated parties that they must ignore biological sex or face enforcement enforcement actions, and the loss of federal education funding, the suit said. The states involved argue that the updated rules clash with their own laws, including those restricting which bathrooms and locker rooms transgender students can use, banning them from using facilities that align with their new gender identity. A lawsuit filed in Alabama says the expansion conflicts with state laws around harassment, bathrooms, sports, parental rights, and more, calling it a violation of sovereign authority. Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina also backed the suit. The Biden administration's new rules broadly protect against discrimination based on sex, but they don't offer guidance around transgendered athletes. The Education Department has promised a separate rule on that issue later. Yet, in their suits, Republican states argue that the latest update can be interpreted to apply to athletics. A suit filed in Louisiana said the policy cannot help but sound the death knell for female sports. Joining that suit were Mississippi, Montana, and Idaho. A legal basis for the new rules, the Education Department cited a 2020 Supreme Court case protecting gay, lesbian, and transgender people from discrimination in employment. The lawsuits challenged that justification, saying the Supreme Court decision focused on employment law, not Title IX. The decision involved an unrelated statute that was enacted nearly a decade earlier, pursuant to a different constitutional power, with no mention of sex-segregated bathrooms, locker rooms, and dress codes, the Texas suit said. Among other things, the suits also take exception with the new policy changes dictating how schools and colleges must handle complaints of sexual assault. States say the new rules erode the due process rights of accused students and turn campus disciplinary boards into kangaroo courts. They ask courts to immediately halt the rules and overturn them. The Biden administration's new rules were proposed nearly 2 years ago, with a public comment period that drew 240,000 responses, a record for the Education Department. The policy rolls back many of the changes implemented during the Trump administration, which added more protections for students accused of sexual misconduct. So now, again, remember, the live we did about Title IX and it including queerness. Again, inclusion, not taking away, but including. And now Republican states are challenging these new inclusive rules for queer students. And because of this growing onslaught against the queer experience, okay, we're going to go ahead and shift to the other article that is also again in the description box below. What's going on, Queen Donna? Good to have you in the building. And it reads, and this is from them.us, 9 out of 10 queer youth in the US say politics have harmed their well-being. A new report from the Trevor Project details the mental health impacts of anti-queer legislation. And this was written on May 1st. 90% of LGBTQ plus youth in the US say politics have negatively impacted their lives in the past year, according to a new report from queer suicide prevention organization, the Trevor Project. On Wednesday, researchers at the nonprofit unveiled their 6th annual survey on mental health among queer young people. Drawing on responses from more than 18,000 queer people between the ages of 13 and 24, the survey correlated anti-queer political issues with negative mental health outcomes for youth. Recent politics had a negative impact on 90% of queer youth, researchers found, and 39% said they or their families had considered moving to another state due to new anti-queer policies or laws. That number rose to 45% of trans or non-binary youth. Nearly half of the respondents aged 13 through 17 said that they had been bullied for being queer in the past year. In turn, the report found that 39% of all respondents had seriously considered self-deletion in the past year, a drop of just 2% since the Trevor Project's 2023 survey. That rate was higher for trans youth and significantly so for young people of color. Only 50% of respondents who wanted mental health care were able to access it last year, the report also found. At the same time, researchers stressed that young people are not naturally disposed to poor mental health. Rather, queer youth are, quote, placed at higher risk because of how they are mistreated and stigmatized in society, end quote. Respondents whose family, school, and or community supported their identity and who did not experience anti-queer bullying or discrimination reported significantly lower rates of self-deletion attempts or ideation. Quote, once again, this year's survey shows that considering or attempting self-deletion is not uncommon among queer young people, end quote, said Dr. Renita Nath, Vice President of Research at the Trevor Project, in a statement accompanying the full report this week. Quote, however, many other contributing risk factors for self-deletion are preventable and often rooted in victimizing behaviors of others. The results of this survey clearly identify a need for adults and allies to create more affirming environments for queer young people and better support them in being their true selves. Let me read that again. However, many of the contributing risk factors for self-deletion are preventable and often rooted in victimizing behaviors of others. The results of this survey clearly identify a need for adults and allies to create more affirming environments for queer young people and better support them in being their true selves, end quote. The new report also looked at the impact of having a supportive school environment, finding that youth who had access to queer affirming spaces, especially gender affirming spaces for trans youth, generally reported better mental health and lower rates of self-deletion. An analysis of hate crime data in the Washington Post in March found a spike in intimidation and assault against queer students in K-12 schools between 2021 and 2022. Analysts found that the increases were more pronounced in states where lawmakers had introduced new policies restricting queer speech in schools. Quote, with such striking numbers and families literally wanting to uproot their homes to seek safety, lawmakers must seriously reconsider the real and damaging impact that their anti-queer policies and rhetoric create, end quote, said Jansun Wu, Senior Director of State Advocacy and Government Affairs, in the Trevor Project statement this week. Quote, no political victory should be worth risking the lives of young people, end quote. Since last year, the Trevor Project's leadership has faced criticism for alleged mismanagement and labor violations related to the national 988 suicide prevention hotline. Last summer, members of the Trevor Project employee bargaining unit said that they were laid off in an act of alleged union busting, while outside workers contracted from the crisis line said they were abruptly let go despite the now permanent program's expansion. In April, the Trevor Project laid off another 6% of its staff, leading some to comment to the internal mood was increasingly gloomy. Quote, the crisis workers are the lowest paid people in the organization, which just baffles me because, they're doing the literal work of the mission of the org, one anonymous source told the Washington Blade last month. And if you are in a crisis, or if there's anyone else that's in a crisis, please call text, or chat with the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 or contact the Crisis text line by texting TALK to 741-741. So again, we started off reading Title 9, which is trying to literally erase queer existence or put a limit on queer existence that feels safe with them, which safety means damn near no exposure, damn near no living, damn near go back in the closet. Then we spoke on how these anti-queer laws are fucking with the minds of queer youth who have to grow up listening to this shit and dealing with this shit and trying to figure the fuck out how the hell are they going to be able to survive in this world. Because again, even the individuals who are adults, you see what the hell we all have to deal with. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at, pull this thing out, sorry. We're going to listen to, or if you want to look at it, you can, but listen to a video by an individual named the Black Gen Z Mindset. Now, I don't know much about this individual. This individual, I do believe, is a Republican, if I'm not mistaken, because they have and wear a Make America Great Again hat. Some of the commentary that they give, of course, it speaks some truth to some of the things that are happening in the black community, but it's said as a matter of factly or with not with context or nuance. You know what I mean? So again, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. I want y'all to understand that the visual is going to be blurred. You won't be able to see as much because I'm not trying to get this shit strucken down. So hopefully this will work. If not, it'll tell me on my screen that if something is going on, okay? But let's go ahead and get into that really quickly. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself for a minute, and then we're gonna get into it.
Columbus police now searching for this teenager, 19-year-old Jaquan Curry, accused of opening fire in front of a Waffle House near Ohio State's campus early Monday morning.
What the heck?
And that's gonna be
a
him
shootout
talking.
at a Waffle House? How could it be? You know, this is something that I've covered on my channel many times. The recklessness, the brazenness of these guys, these modern day super teen gremlins on Demon Time to ruin a nice night out at the Waffle House is disgusting. Okay? You got the All-Star Special. You have the hash browns.
Y'all gonna hear my lighter.
You've got blueberry waffles.
Sorry,
and
not
you're gonna
sorry.
ruin all of that because you can't control your emotions. I mean, it's a very sickening thing, but this is the current state we are at in the community, and nobody's talking about it. Like, people are just acting like it's just gonna go away, and it's not, man. We've got too many crazy actors who are just lashing out without any type of recourse and without any type of pushback from the community. In many cases, you have justification of these actions.
Killing 38-year-old Ronald Diggs.
He was an all-around good guy.
Comedian Flame Monroe remembering his friend Ronald, known as Ry'Yon Tajoure in the pageant world. He was crowned king in a national competition last year. Flame hosts the pageant when Diggs was crowned.
He was so proud to be king. It made your heart feel with joy because he was so happy that he was representing this pageant. He was a good egg.
2 days before losing his life, Diggs posting to his public Facebook page, writing, "This week has been good to me. Time to dance."
Wow. So imagine. Hold on. Sorry, y'all had to sneeze. So imagine your life going good as fuck. You feel like life is finally on your side. Whatever adversity that I was going through in my life, it seems like I've got to the end of it, and I can literally not just see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I can hear what's happening outside the end of the tunnel because I'm close. I can smell what's outside the tunnel because I'm so close. I can feel the warmth of the sun shining, the light shining on me. So I have all these different senses going on just for your life, unfortunately, to be snuffed out.
Wow. So as you guys can see, this is a homosexual man, and you would think that the LGBT community or communita would be screaming and coming out in droves, but they don't seem to care because the narrative doesn't fit. If a straight white male had shot this guy, it would be major news headlines. They would have said he was a MAGA supporting white supremacist, but all these narratives that the media is trying to paint, they really do have to stretch to make it happen and have to put out a tremendous amount of propaganda to act like, you know, there's something that there's not, because these things just don't happen. And in most of these cases, it's just a super teen gremlin on demon time who is
But what he is forgetting to understand is that this person was killed by another black person, and regardless if it's hetero or it's queer, whenever a black person kills somebody black, the only sort of recognition that it's going to get is to be on the news. And because that individual is not subscribed to the trap life, that means that there would be no sort of street justice happening that will continue the cycle. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a black trans man a few years ago who was unalived by police officers who happened to be white, and the majority of the black community didn't even speak on that. And you're sitting here saying, oh, well, they come out in droves. Well, the queer community is already small, and it becomes even smaller when you now deal with queer community of color, because racism is still in the queer community. What needs to happen all across, exactly, thank you, Queen Stevie, Tony McDade, a trans man who lost his life. See, if anything, if the community was really about it, the community would not just be out here walking and marching and all this stuff, but the community, especially the individuals who speak about being part of a time where there was a neighborhood and we looked out for each other, and if you fucked up down the street, you got your ass whooped, and then your parents whooped your ass a second and third time. Or the fact that if somebody if there's a domestic dispute going on down the street and somebody getting their ass beat, the people in the neighborhood knew exactly to go to help stop the situation. We're not doing that anymore. Because according to this individual who's talking about these niggas on demon time, they on demon time because they don't give a fuck, because nobody gives a fuck about them. So if you don't give a fuck about yourself, how are you going to be able to give a fuck about anyone else? It's the same thing with self-love. How can you receive and give something that you never had, or you're under the illusion that you will never have? The shit gets very muddied. That's why, again, context and nuance is very important. Where are the communities that are checking the individuals who are agents of chaos in their community and telling them, look, you got to pack up and go somewhere with that bullshit?
Acting out these violent acts, all because he got his feelings hurt.
It is mind-boggling that this happens to him. It really is. It's so sad.
Friends tell us the Atlanta man was in Columbus over the weekend judging a pageant competition in the short north.
Wow.
Just hours after that show, Diggs was at the Waffle House with friends when police say a fight involving up to 20 people broke out in the restaurant and spilled out into the streets.
And that is a huge mistake too.
Wow.
Guys. In high school, watching a fight was cool because you're not worried about being shot and somebody shooting into the crowd, because you know you're not expecting people to have guns. But in the real world, and fights break out, you need to get as far away as possible. I know you want to watch so bad and you want to pull out your phone and film it, but you will become a casualty. And these super gremlins shoot brazenly into crowds, not aiming, not hitting the target that they intended. They just want to be known for busting their gun. That's what it's called. They want to be a known shooter. They want to be known for catching a body, and they'll claim the body in the hood, and there won't be any substantial evidence or any witnesses who are willing to come out against them, because catching a body in the community, unfortunately, it's sad to say, but there's some bragging rights that come with it. And you know, there's a feeling of invincibility when you have caught a body and the people around you have not.
Shots were fired.
But at the same time, him literally saying, if you see a fight happening, to break it up. I mean, to not break it up, to run, to not get involved. So basically, it just speaks to what it is that I said in reference to like how the community also plays a role in this, because we're just taught to shut the fuck up and not say anything, because again, snitches get stitches. So now there are people who now their lives are destroyed. Now they on the news crying and snotting and screaming, having to accept the reality that their loved one is no longer here because your ass decided to snatch them the fuck away. But where are the people that are checking these niggas? Where are the security guards? Where are the police officers? Matter of fact, where is the old school niggas who grew up with the Black Panthers and shit, who can go ahead and patrol and safeguard their own neighborhood, just like a lot of ooish people do? Because the ooish community, baby, they have their own shit going on. They have their own elders that they send people to deal with some sort of discipline or reprimand. And some of these states are open carry states. So my thing is, what's wrong with seeing older black men who understand the importance of self-defense and possibly how to take a life, but only again in the realm of self-defense, that is walking around the neighborhood, that is making sure that the kids are getting to school safely and getting home safely, that's making sure that before the police is called, we check our own shit out, because we already see how the police at large view black people. Historically viewing black people, to where even the individuals who are the good cops, their goodness is overshadowed by the fuck shit that a lot of times, 9 times out of 8, they can see. But if you listen to what black Gen Z mindset is saying, and again, I don't know the individual, but I'm just speaking off of what it is that I objectively hear and see. He's telling you that if you see people fighting, mind your own business. Don't get involved. Don't try to do the Christ thing, because you being a good person could possibly cost you your life. And that is a very fucked up thing to think. And I'm gonna get to y'all comments after this video.
And Diggs was hit in the chest.
And it was the way that it happened, Steve, because sometimes you expect death, but then sometimes when it comes unexpectedly like this, it hits you so hard you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. this blurred somewhat. That's what took me a minute before I could do this damn live. He's gonna find another news article or news clip.
Now at 6, remembering Ronald Diggs, the 38-year-old entertainer was well known across the country as King Ry'Yon. His friends are remembering him tonight for his kindness and that infectious smile. Diggs was killed after a fight broke out at a Waffle House near Ohio State's campus. Columbus police say that fight spilled outside and someone shot Diggs in the chest early Monday morning. Tonight, the search for the 19-year-old accused of killing him is continuing. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Angela Ann. Yolanda is off this week. Now, we are learning more tonight about the arrest warrant, and 10 TV's Lacey Crisp joins us live now from downtown Columbus. Lacey, what have you learned?
Well, according to court documents, Columbus police have filed murder charges against 19-year-old Jaquan Curry. Now, according to a 911 caller, about 20 to 30 people were fighting outside when she heard a gunshot. Now, according to court documents, witnesses told police that the fight started inside the Waffle House around 2:30 Monday morning and that the fight continued outside. Police say Ronald Diggs was shot in the chest and killed. The witnesses identified 19-year-old Jaquan Curry, known as J. Cole, as the shooter.
Dang, so this man calling himself J. Cole, that's crazy. Oh, man. Typical for a night out in the community. And too many instances like this have happened. And a lot of times they can escalate into mass shootings and they're counted in the data. So you're wondering why black men are overrepresented in this category, and that's the reason.
A warrant has been filed for Curry, who is from the east side of Columbus.
One of them got hit. One of them got punched. And then the other one was walking up asking what happened with the other one, and then he was shot.
Damn.
And Curry has not been taken into custody yet. Reporting live, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
So the nigga was
Lacey,
walking
thank
around
you. Tonight
still.
we are learning much.
Dang, so they ain't even brought him into custody yet. Woo!
Damn.
I mean, that means he can do more harm. Hopefully.
And that says a lot on the criminal justice system. Why are you not trying to roll and find this nigga? Like on the first 48, someone has lost their life. And as we can see, unfortunately, somebody who was known in their community, doing positive things in their community, and even was noticing a positive shift in their own personal life, just for that to happen. And you telling me that we know the nigga who did it, girl, or we looking for him as a suspect, and you telling me this nigga walking around and you want this nigga or think that this nigga is gonna have enough self-awareness to turn himself in? The time where law enforcement, which a lot of Republican individuals believe in, this should have been the time. I mean, this is the time to get a nigga, right? I mean, this nigga has been, bruh, this be the perfect time.
Turns himself in, but a lot of times these dudes are just gonna skedaddle.
More about who Ronald Diggs was. Yeah, tonight this is how friends are remembering Ronald Diggs.
He was a beloved entertainer, full of energy, they say, with a passion for dancing, which earned him countless crowns and titles across the country. We know Diggs was visiting Columbus for a show in the Short North.
Yeah, tonight the friend who got him here in Columbus explains how he's dealing with his death and the void it now leaves.
His moves were his signature.
He was happy and it was doing something he loved, and that was dancing.
The stage, his throne.
Truly just a beacon of hope and light, and one of the kindest people you would meet and could just light up a room.
And the question is, you know, you see some friends and potential family talking about him, but where's the LGBT community as a whole? Like, why are they not in the streets? Right? Why is this not major news? Why is this not a major headline?
I just
It's because
explained why.
this is not sexy for the leftist, progressive, radicals, whatever you want to call them. It's not a headline that they can get behind and say, all right, we can demonize straight white men. That's really what it is.
Really?
Right? That's really what it is. They have no problem demonizing straight white men, but when it comes to these super gremlins who are committing these types of crimes and taking away good people, like, right? I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the lifestyle, but all in all, it appears that he had a very positive impact
It's not needed either.
on the people around him. So, man, I mean, it's just another one of those things where we're sitting back like, you know, what the heck? Why don't people care as much as they would if the dynamics were changed? And you know, a lot of you guys on this channel, y'all can answer that for yourselves.
But at the same time, because I saw your comment, Spice, and I'm gonna get to it after this video, because, you know, I'm an objective person. But again, the reason why the queer community at large, including white queer people, is because, again, this is a black queer person. In the exact same way that the reason why niggas ain't outside marching in the streets when Mook Mook killed Ray Ray, so they do a public outcry to hopefully plead to these people that they stop doing what they're doing. Y'all not doing it when there are straight heterosexual men that are unaliving other heterosexual men. So if y'all not gonna do it for the heterosexual community, I would be a fool to sit here and believe that you would do it for the queer community. Even though the queer community has stood in the gap for heterosexual people time and time again, who are the individuals that really be on the front lines, or that are implementive or imperative in these roles to speak about the injustices that are happening to black people? So in a sense, I can understand from his viewpoint, because again, he is a Republican, and there are certain trigger words or buzzwords that are said to where it's like, and he might feel the same way about my commentary or other people or other oppressed groups' commentary as well. But it's about us having a conversation and really trying to figure this shit out, because at the end of the day, while people are going back and forth, real lives are being affected. People's experiences are now transformed because of other people's decisions. That's the terrifying part. And also, any one of us could be affected by any of the ignorant, low vibrational, fear-based decisions of others. And it is sad that when people try to be human beings to each other and try to help each other and stand in the gap to help dilute some shit, now there's a possibility that you get to lose your fucking life trying to be the good person. But I mean, look at what the hell they did to Christ. According to the narrative, they chose Barabbas over his ass. The murderer, the rapist, the agent of chaos, over the one who simply said that you are loved and you have the power to be whatever you want. And if you do it through the lens of love, baby, you will start living in such an overflow state to where you will truly, genuinely be connected to something that will never leave you nor ever forsake you, even though the world will do it to you. But that's why I say, for a lot of these red pill communities, a lot of these spaces with these niggas who practice stoicism and all this shit, Where the fuck are y'all niggas at to stop and be in the gap? Because no shade, if we gonna play the game, let's play the game. Y'all the elders, y'all done lived y'all damn life, so if somebody should be putting their life down, it should be y'all, because y'all the ones that's damn near halfway or on your damn way to glory. Wouldn't it, or didn't it say in the Bible, girl, that one of the greatest things you could possibly do, and I'm saying it kind of broken, but not verbatim, one of the best things you can do is to lay down your life for your fellow brother? To actually do shit that aware righteous kings do. But no, y'all get on YouTube and talk about them, as opposed to doing like how y'all did back in the day, which is when you act up, you got your ass toe up exactly what you got acted up at. Where is that at? Where are the granddaddies and the uncles and the fathers who are taking belts and whooping the fuck out of these trap ass niggas on the street who are genuine agents of chaos? Where y'all at? Where you ring rain ass niggas? Where are y'all at?
No matter where he was at.
Ronald Diggs, known by many across the country as King Ry'Yon Shugahbear Tajoure, was a legendary entertainer in the LGBTQ+ community, a community now left mourning his sudden death.
It was simply a matter of, unfortunately, the wrong place at the wrong time.
As Robbie Rickard grieves the loss of his friend, his heart is also heavy with a feeling of guilt. He was the reason Diggs and his friend Christopher Johnson were in Columbus over the weekend, supporting an event he was hosting at Axe's nightclub.
He was here just to simply be an entertainer and to judge that event, and little did we know it was just going to be his last dance.
His life cut short outside of this Waffle House on High Street Monday morning by a complete stranger.
It was literally just them walking up to seeing like what is happening as the fight was already in progress.
Yeah, don't do that. When a fight breaks out, run, duck and run. Especially if it's in the community, duck and run. You don't want to be nowhere near that.
That's whenever that person went to get the gun, and that's when Ry'Yon was shot.
Diggs was pronounced dead at an area hospital. His friend Christopher Johnson physically assaulted, but released. Tonight, police are looking for Jaquan Curry. They say he was the gunman.
I have faith that our justice system will do the right thing. I hope they find this individual.
As the wheels of justice turn slowly, Diggs' friends vow to cherish the lives and hearts he touched with his turns on the stage.
I like to think I'm a forgiving person and understanding, but it's hard to even understand the why now. So someone so innocent that didn't deserve it at all.
As we mentioned, Diggs lived in Atlanta with his family. Tonight, they are working to get him back home.
So, that was the clip of the unfortunate unaliving of Ronald Diggs, and I'm going to read this article and then I'm gonna really get into y'all comments for real. But this is from foxatlanta.com, and unfortunately this is not in the description box below, but it will be in post once this live is done. And it reads: Atlanta entertainer killed in shooting outside Ohio Waffle House. It's Columbus, Ohio. Police in Ohio are searching for a 19-year-old accused of the unaliving of an Atlanta man at a Waffle House earlier this week. WSYX reports that Columbus police officers responded to reports of a shooting at around 2:30 a.m. on Monday outside a Waffle House near Ohio State University. At the scene, officers found 38-year-old Ronald Diggs shot in the chest. Medics rushed Diggs to a local hospital where he later died. Investigators say that the incident started as a fight inside the restaurant that continued out onto the street. A suspect, identified as 19-year-old Jaquan Curry, is facing a murder charge and remains on the run. So who is Ronald Diggs? Ronald Diggs was visiting Columbus to perform at a show in the city's arts district. Excuse me, Lord. Friend Robbie Rickard told WBNS that Diggs had nothing to do with the fight that led to his death. Quote, "It was simply a matter of being at the wrong place at the wrong time," end quote, Rickard said. He said that Diggs, who went by the name King Ry'Yon, Shugahbear, Tajoure, was known for his passion for dancing, which had won him multiple titles at queer pageants. He was here just to simply be an entertainer and to judge that event. Little did we know that would be his last dance. Okay? Wow. So you have that happen. But that's not the only thing that is happening to queer people. So now we had, unfortunately, Brother Ronald, first of all, may he rest in power. Okay? We dealt with his unaliving, and like it was stated by Black G, Millennial G, or whatever, the YouTuber I said, the black guy that we listened to, like he said, why isn't the community speaking about it? Because he's black. And even in the black community, black people don't want to speak about the shit that happened to black queer people. Because if they were to do that, then there would have to be a level of accountability that they would have to then try to help other people in the heterosexual community see. And just like it was stated, when you try to be the good person, the good guy, to stand in the gap, what happens to the good people? They are the ones, unfortunately, that end up having their lives snuffed out when they were simply just trying to do the Christ thing. Okay? But before we get into that article, look at y'all comments. Let me see. Deshaun said, I mean, it's really sick of what people are doing to these kids, man. If these kids want to be gay, let them be gay. It's not up to you to decide to make them straight because you're making them do is create a lie, and then the family is still to blame again. Let me see. Queen Stevie says there's been a lot of BS going on, and they have been trying to erase our existence. Flame is not a good voice for the queer community at all. You know, look, Flame got her own experience and how she sees things. She's saying the trans community can't speak for her, and she definitely can't speak for the trans community. So I just feel like when it comes down to Flame Monroe, if she speaks from her own personal experiences and keeps it at that, I'm cool with that. But that broad generalization, don't do that, okay? I'm just saying. The way Flame totally gaslit Hope on that live, I'll never forget it. You gotta send me that live, because I'll fuck around and do a review on that maybe. Yep, and again, like I said, Tony McDade, a black trans man, was unalived. To black millennial G-Zen mindset, what he said, well, if it was a white man, it would have been national news. Nope, already happened, and it wasn't national news. If anything, it was swept under the rug. If anything, black people were not even out in droves like they would if it was a heterosexual black man that had lost their life through police brutality. Okay? Which is why you have Jared Carmichael sucking on pink toes. Let's talk about it. Look, he got his own issue he got to deal with. I do feel like there is some internal anger or whatever, or resentment towards black men or just blackness, you know, but that's his cross to carry. Okay, at this point, I'm glad he put himself out there so that people know exactly where to place his ass. Okay, Queen Donna said 99.9 it'd be the wrong person. Damn. Queen Stevie said, no, if I see something, I'm saying something. This is what Huey P. Newton said. We must gain security in ourselves and therefore have respect and feeling for all oppressed people. And again, Huey P. Newton, there is an interview that he did in the 70s where he was asked his opinion on queer rights and women's rights. Because again, at that time, it wasn't just liberation for black people. It was oppressed groups of people. And Huey P. Newton and Fred Hampton, all of them were very progressive for their time, where they literally sat there and said, we want to connect with all those individuals who are politically minded and work with them, because at the end of the day, we are all oppressed groups of people. And again, what happened to them? Like, this is where the people gonna have to really like come together for real, because if Paul Mooney said it best, and he said it in a way to where it's like a two-way thing. I'm going to add a third option after it. But he said originally, either we going to hang separately or we going to hang together. At the end of the day, we all going to hang. But I'm going to add to that. We only going to hang if that's what you believe. Because there are some motherfuckers, girl, who gonna fight to the end. Just like how black people escaping slavery was not part of the plan. Black people starting to have agency over themselves wasn't the plan. Just like women started to have agency over themselves wasn't the plan. Just like how queer people having agency over themselves and their existence and their experience wasn't part of the plan. When there's a will, there's a way. That's why they want to break your will. Because your existence literally challenges what has been taught to them. Because what's been taught to somebody and what they see, there is an inner conflict going on. And there are some people who will want to get in such high positions and levels of power that instead of doing their work, which don't give a fuck where you at on the level or the spectrum, nigga, God is in everything, the top, bottom, in between, they will use their power and their resources to literally snuff out other people's existence. Just like how there's now a rise in this whole Christian nationalism and this Christian onslaught against queerness. History is literally repeating itself, and we have and live in the information age where we can actively learn from history. And a lot of us are afraid to learn from history because we live in a world where the majority don't want to learn, don't want to become better. And I don't give a damn. I'm not gonna sit up here and wait for the majority to get their shit together, because it seems like the only way the majority gonna get their shit together is when overall destruction happens, to where now God's source universe consciousness has removed all of your privileges, bitch, and now you a human being, girl. See, I be trying to have these conversations and try to bring them in on a surface level, but I'm gonna need you to go deeper into the water. You can't just stay at the 1 foot. You can't just keep your pinky toe in. Bitch, if you in shallow water, you don't get to speak with authority. It's only when you go deeper into the experience, when you gather and garner more information, is when you start to have the ability to speak authority in reference to whatever it is that you're reviewing. Which is why when I do my shit, I make sure I have articles, I have statistics, I have experiences, both personal and subjective, and those objective outside of me. That's why I do the motherfucking work. Because one day I aspire to have my own family and to have my own children. And I would love to live in a world where my children could literally be themselves, whether they're heterosexual, whether they're queer, and the fact that they have 2 dads. But I also have to accept the fact that there will always and forever be queerphobic people. And just like in my journal entries, I realize that you cannot control other people. That's fine. I'ma only control what I can control, which is myself, and it makes life a lot easier. So with that being said, I also make sure to take certain precautions, i.e. when my children do come into this experience, God willing, and they come of age to where they start going to school and interacting with other children, I'm going to make sure that my children know self-defense, so that if queerphobia is expressed through one of their peers, that if they were to overstep their boundaries from verbal to physical, my child is going to do whatever it needs to do, or whatever they need to do in order to survive the encounter. Your child, I don't know about that, because your child should have been starting shit. And that's going to be able to help set precedents now, that we not going to wait until you a motherfucking adult and shit pop the fuck off. We going to deal with this Pennywise clown energy and spirit while it's right here in the form of youth. And if that bitch happens to come back during our adult years, baby, bring it on then. Spicy said, he's right, unfortunately. I personally know someone who tried to break up a fight and ended up getting unalived himself. And that's the sad part. I forgot what the lady name was, but they were doing this Black Summit, and she said something along the lines of, you know, the old people scared and the parents are scared, but the children, they ain't afraid of nobody. Yeah, the children don't have any fear, but that's because they don't have any sort of love in their life. And if it ain't gonna be just a regular schmegula grandma or a regular schmegula neighbor or just a cohabitant in this neighborhood, where are the old school OG ass hard ass niggas who didn't unalived niggas or went to prison and got out and changed their life? Why ain't they mother? And if you ask me, those need to be the individuals that check these younger niggas, girl. That's your penance to give back to the community in reference to the lives that you've taken. Bootsy. Hello? All you old school ass, OG ass niggas, girl, the very few and fortunate who were able to have an opportunity to change your life and not spend your whole entire life in prison or in a fucking box. This is your time, again, like I said, to help change the narrative by laying down your life for your fellow younger brother. Because now at this point, when it comes down to the powers that be that want to fuck up all the oppressed groups of people, they're not going to have to do as much fucking work, girl. They're going to come in at the last leg and completely just pull the rug underneath our feet. Meanwhile, we are the individuals that were fighting amongst each other, literally doing the work for them, so that they also have the right to get on these news outlets and control the narrative that they helped to create for you. That continues to feed and fan the flames of covert racism. I.e., just like that man said, that individual, the 19-year-old boy, has locks in his hair. How many black men, including myself, are starting their own lock journey? So now there is now a poster child or representation of what a thug looks like or a hoodlum looks like, or to that individual's statement, gremlins on demon time. Okay, let me get to these comments. Yes, being an ally to the community, you put yourself in the line of what is right. Now is not the time to sit back and be silent. Queen Stevie also says, can we please retire the word lifestyle in 2024? This is a lifestyle. I want a massive glam room with lots of makeup like Paris Hilton lifestyle. That's how it should be used. Exactly. That's what I think of lifestyle. It's the style of the way you live your life, the lifestyle of what? The rich and famous. I am a gay man who is not out here having casual sex, even though in my head I want to. I play video games. I like to edit. I like playing the piano. There are so many other things, but I am still a queer person. My queerness does not dominate or dictate my whole reality. It's ignorant motherfuckers outside of us, of the community, who are trying to tell us what we are in a lifestyle. Well, I wish some of you niggas would live a healthier lifestyle and push away from the table, girl. When your stomach is touching the table before your goddamn face and plate and fork can, that's God telling you to slow it down. Okay? Let me see. See, you said they don't give a fuck about us, and that's sad. Well, that's what I'm trying to get queer people to understand. They don't give a fuck about, they don't care about us. They don't care about us. They show us that. And I'm not going to sit up here and try to force people to see it. You ain't got to see it, boo. Girl, all I'm going to say is don't try me. Because one thing you will objectively see is these rounds flying off into your ass. And it shouldn't have to get to that point. But we're living in dangerous times. And it's sad because, once again, you can't even be a good person to stop a fight from happening, to stop somebody from pulling a gun out and shooting someone and literally fucking up their life for possibly the rest of their life because they don't have an emotional awareness and intelligence. And now they're sitting behind bars. Another statistic, because your ass got into an argument and probably over some dumb shit. Deshaun says, a kid killing a grown man like Ronald Diggs, this is crazy. The black community got to do better. They're teaching their kids bad influences, like they think it's cool, but when it comes to sexuality, yeah, better not be gay, but you can do that. And again, it goes back to the infamous question that was asked to parents or individuals who are aspiring to be parents. What would you want? Would you want a gay child, or would you want a trapped child? And we all saw what the comments shared. Okay, you sent the live. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna try to watch it tonight. I ain't gonna be able to guarantee anything, no shade. Okay, but now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into another article. Again, this article is in the description box below. 1 second. Thank y'all for joining me. Please make sure y'all hit the like button for me if you can. Thank you. And it reads, Sasha Williams, a trans woman remembered for her heart of gold, killed in Las Vegas. Williams moved to Vegas in 2021 to pursue her dream of becoming a performer. Now, this article contains descriptions of fatal violence against a transgender woman. So, for those who are trans who are going to feel triggered by this, I'm letting you know now that this is your trigger warning. Okay, if you have to leave, do what you need to do. But I do encourage my trans brothers and sisters to work through those triggers, so that you can control your narrative and control your power. Because even though a lot of the statistics that surround trans people, especially trans women of color, are alarming, you do have an option and you do have a choice to change the narrative to where it can read something different than what unfortunately a lot of the other statistics has shared, or article, new headline, newsline shared or wrote. Sasha Williams, a multiracial trans woman from North Carolina, was killed in Las Vegas on January 26th. She was 36 years old. Oh, so this is like, wow. Although Williams' death was known to some in her community, her identity was not initially made public. Media reports in January noted only that a woman had been stabbed on the morning of the 26th in the street near Palos Verdes Street in Twain Avenue, not far from the Las Vegas Strip. Witnesses who spoke to police said they saw Williams in an argument with a man directly before the stabbing took place. They then directed the police to an apartment where they believed the suspect fled. Authorities subsequently arrested 20-year-old Hassan Malik Howard, charging him with open murder with a deadly weapon. Howard was being held in Clark County Jail without bond as of this week, according to prisoner records reviewed by them. No motive in Williams' murder has yet been confirmed. Williams' identity was brought to wider public knowledge via an article last week in the Las Vegas Review-Journal and through additional reporting by Pittsburgh lesbian correspondents. According to her aunt, Tina Thornton, Williams was born and raised in, I'm gonna mess this name up, Raleigh, I know I probably fucked it up, North Carolina, by a single father and her aunts. Williams came out as trans in her teens and found acceptance after several years of tension with her father, Thornton told the Review-Journal. She enrolled in the Job Corps, obtained her GED, and eventually became certified, as a hair, nails, and makeup artist. Although her mental health was severely impacted after she was incarcerated in a men's prison, Williams later moved to Las Vegas in 2021 to pursue her dream of being a performer. There, she met fellow artist David Leach through the local ballroom community, and the two became close friends and fierce competitors. Williams was known to sew her own clothes and even reupholstered her car's interior in cheetah print, her favorite pattern, Leach recalled. She often sent delivery orders to both Leach and Thornton when they were dealing with medical problems, and Leach finally remembered her heart of gold. But Williams still struggled with her mental health and reportedly entered a depressive spiral after losing her dogs and her home months before her death. According to Thornton and Leach, she retreated into drug use and resisted help from others. 1 month before her death, Leach reported her as a missing person, a report which Williams resented, he said, but which helped officials identify Williams after her death. Quote, "She died in cold blood, in broad daylight, in the middle of the street in Las Vegas," end quote, Leach mourned in the Review-Journal. "I just have this big question mark that just lays in my head all the time on that. What happened? We just don't know. I just want to know." Williams is one of at least 13 trans people who have died violently in the U.S. this year so far, according to an ongoing estimate from Pittsburgh lesbian correspondents. Her death came less than a month after the killing of self-described transient fashion model Kitty Monroe in Arizona on New Year's Day. Quote, "My heart breaks for Sasha's family, her friends, and for her community. It is clear Sasha was fighting hard to better herself against long odds," wrote Tori Cooper of the human rights campaign's Transgender Justice Initiative in a statement released this week. "Yet again, we find ourselves mourning a life that ended far too soon." So the last thing that we're going to take a listen to now, okay? Hold on. I had deleted this page, sorry. We started here in America with the passing of Brother Diggs, the passing of Sister Williams. And now we're going to go ahead and travel from America to the continent of Africa, in particular, South Africa. And before we do that, I want to read something to you real quick. Because a lot of people are saying, especially here in America, that same-sex marriage is a white European thing. And that it is something that basically originated or is festering in America, and the branches are now extending all across the world. But again, something is very interesting here. Same-sex marriage has been legal in South Africa since the Civil Union Act in 2006 and came into force on November 30th of 2006. The decision of the Constitutional Court in the case of Minister of Homes Affairs versus Foree, I probably messed the name up, on December 1st of 2005 extended the common law definition of marriage to include same-sex spouses, as the Constitution of South Africa guarantees equal protection before the law to all citizens regardless of sexual orientation, and gave Parliament 1 year to rectify the inequality in the marriage statutes. On November 14th of 2006, the National Assembly passed the law allowing same-sex couples to legally solemnize their union 229-41, which was subsequently approved by the National Council of Provinces on at this moment, Andrew Caldwell buying thee on November 28th in a 36-11 vote, and the law came into effect 2 days later. South Africa, was the 5th country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage after the Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, and Canada, and remains the only African country to have done so. So even though they were able to legalize queer marriage and same-sex marriage way before Americans did, we still have people who live in South Africa who are part of the queer community who are still afraid for their lives. And now that the anti-gay bill, or Kill the Gays bill, has been enacted in Uganda, and there are other countries following suit, it really starts to speak to the growing fear that a lot of South African queer people now have to deal with. And since we're talking about something from America affecting Africa, the only thing that America infected Africa with was European Judo Christianity and religion, which inspired the bill. That now criminalizes queer Ugandans to the extreme brink of death. So let's go ahead and take a listen, shall we, to that documentary. Let's get it. Oh shit, is this it? This is it. Sorry, wrong one.
These are my weapons. This is what I have to go through every day in order to feel like I'm safe. These two sleep by my bed, and then this one stays there. If I don't grab this, at least maybe they take me to the front. I will have a knife shaft somewhere. If not, I'm gonna catch this and I fall down, and then I use this to protect myself. Just think of that kind of life.
So that was a lesbian woman in the beginning who stated and showed her weaponry around her house, even to the point to where she has gotten a beer bottle and broke it and smashed it to where it's like jagged around the edges, and she now has something that she can use to protect herself. What's going on, Spicy TV? Nice to have you here. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue.
South Africa's post-apartheid constitution was the first in the world to outlaw discrimination based on sexual orientation. It was the 5th country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. But despite these progressive laws, many of South Africa's LGBTQIA+ community lives in fear, simply for being who they are.
Wow.
A spate of brutal killings have left this community reeling. We are tired of coming and crying when people are not going to die. How many of us must be slain for this country to take us seriously? So as we hand over this memorandum that I'm about to read, I think that must be clear that we haven't won today's battle. We have not won the battle of Uluru and the many people who slain before them, because our government behind those gates does not take us seriously. The society at large in this country does not take us seriously. The media of this country does not take us seriously. The fucking police service does not take us seriously. That is the reality of queer people in this country.
So now we're going again, like I said, because now this shit pissing me off. So y'all gonna hear a lot of colorful language. There's gonna be a lot of rainbow words thrown in this motherfucker, okay? So again, you have people in fucking Africa to where, again, they are seeing this whole right-wing evangelical Christian nationalism that is actually seeping into the country, a country that had their own African spiritual deities and rights that they are literally killing by choosing to believe in another religion that doesn't even really support them and that was used against them and their people. To create a law that, again, is literally trying to take it back to the Old Testament of their interpretation of the Bible, which was, they bring up Leviticus as far as man should not lay with woman, but they don't continue the other scripture that supported that says afterwards that if you are convicted of this, you should have your head cut off and the blood from your body should be placed upon your head. So not only was this a defiant act against God and a defiant act against nature, let them tell it, now they have the authority given to them by God because of their heterosexuality to literally be judge, jury, and executioner of queer people. And this documentary was released 2 years ago before the anti-queer bill was enacted in Uganda. And y'all think queer people are mentally ill and making this shit up? Again, y'all can check out the documentary for yourself in the description box below. It's really good. It's only like 30-something minutes.
I was born in Manfletcher, in a small village that people are still suffering until today. We don't have water, don't have electricity. When it's dark, you can't even see your whole field.
Wow.
So I grew up there from my family's mother's side, and it was nice. Those people were not rich, but they were humble. They were nice. You know, when you get there, if they don't have a chicken in the yard, they're gonna go somewhere and get a chicken and slaughter a chicken for you because you're the grandchild and then you are here. And then that's a blessing for them. So I grew up there, I was a productive child, and then I always do what the boys do. I always love fighting karate and all that stuff. And then you get hurt along the way, but you're learning. So I grew up as that child that does not take bullshit.
But when Akona was 8 years old, she was moved to live with her father's side of the family when her mother relocated to Cape Town.
That is where I was ill-treated. I was 8 because I'm born in 1990 or 101. So I was 8.
Akona was raped repeatedly by 2 family members.
And then they will make it look like I have to do that. I have anger against them.
Akona silently suffered this abuse for a year before she moved to Cape Town to be with her mother. This is where she slowly started to realize her attraction to women and her romantic disinterest in men.
Everything was fine, but I always had that interest in women. So I saw myself slowly, but me and guys, we don't do very well because from my point of view, from the...
And before y'all start talking about, oh, well, the reason why she lesbian is because she just said that she was raped. Did you literally just hear her say that she always had like a natural propensity towards women? And of course, she tried to date and see what men were giving her, and it just was not working for her. So y'all using that whole idea that in order for somebody to become queer is for them to be sexually abused, I'm gonna need y'all to really leave that shit in the past. Because as we can see, there are people that have been sexually abused who actually go through counseling and go through healing through that traumatic experience and even develop a newfound and a healthier way and a viewpoint on sex, especially in a monogamous situation, that literally are having families and having children and have healed from that experience.
Type of society that we're growing up into. Many guys have no idea how to treat a woman. So to see a strong black woman that is not sleeping with them is a problem.
Wow.
To see a woman that goes into a tavern and buy her own beer is a problem.
Wow.
To see, for instance, I don't date around here. To see someone fresh from another location, hot and all that, is a problem for them. To be living out is a problem with them.
Akona is now 32 years old, living alone in Khayelitsha, a township in Cape Town where people face extreme socioeconomic challenges, and daily life is a constant struggle for most. Life for a lesbian woman in this community is even more dangerous.
I can imagine.
The guys, they're saying I'm trying to make myself be like a man. Which is, I'm not trying to be a man, I'm not trying to be anything, I'm just myself.
Right.
So I do not know what I have to prove to them to be a woman. Maybe I have to sleep with them, then they can confirm that I'm a woman.
So it's very interesting that the commentary that she is sharing about her own experience living in South Africa sounds very similar to a lot of the experiences that women deal with here in America in reference to men. That worldwide it's been taught that women are weak, women need to be saved, that women wouldn't know what to do without the direction of a man. Meanwhile, God's source universe consciousness made the choice to choose females as the individuals that birth niggas into the world, to do something that males cannot do, and that if males were able to do, baby, Roe versus Wade or whatever the damn bill is, baby, wouldn't even matter, girl, because guess what? They would be selling damn birth control pills and shit through the drive-through window at McDonald's and shit. If males had to push out all types of big ass babies, a lot of males wouldn't even know how to deal with that. So to call individuals who bring life, who brought your ass into this world weak, is an insult to females and to the feminine energy expression through females. But again, like she stated, if I go in there and buy my own beer, it's a problem because you're supposed to buy my beer for me. And I'm supposed to be... What the hell is going on? Why I say no data? What happened? Did something get struck? Hold on. What the hell is going on? It says no data. Oh, now we back. Girl, what the hell? Did my shit just end? Are we still live? Hold on. It says no data. What the hell done happened? I got nervous. I'm like, Lord, oh, I don't need another fucking strike. This is, again, my channel not even monetized. Like, these damn bots getting on my damn nerves, bro. Like, let me check my YouTube. I mean, my Gmail. Hold on. That scared the shit out of me because I don't have time. Do you hear me? Okay, we good. We good. We good. I was nervous. And I don't know why. I hope they ain't trying to stop my shit because I'm playing it and stuff, girl. I edited it for YouTube. Stop your bullshit. Let's continue.
Which is something I would never do. Corrective rape, a hate crime perpetrated against gay people with the intention of turning them heterosexual, is a brutal reality facing many lesbian women in communities across South Africa.
Wow. Wow. Let me turn my background music up. Maybe that'll help. Wow. Even my cat down there said, wow. Deshaun said he sent me a clip or whatever it was about how a man was trying to literally get a prostitute for his young son to make sure that his son, quote unquote, don't go that way. And I remember on a Red Pill platform that the individual with the McDowell's arches hairline, girl, okay, him saying that he had sex with a lesbian woman just to prove that she wasn't a real lesbian. And I'm sure in the situations, both parties were drunk. So you have individuals who literally believe that, who literally feel that, oh, the reason why you're queer or you're a lesbian is because you ain't get no good dick yet. You ain't had no good dick yet. And I'm gonna be the individual to give you that good wood, even if it's against your will. And that if this woman, if she survived the fucking encounter, decides to go to law enforcement, is law enforcement really gonna do anything? Especially if this is a lesbian and on top of that a butch lesbian woman who is already being told by motherfuckers outside of her that she trying to be them. When in reality, these niggas want to be all up in her.
There was one guy who was living here at the back. We usually sit together, we share drinks, but that day, all of a sudden I was still sitting and then chatting. And I don't get drunk, I only get drunk when I get home because I've seen the kind of people that are around. But today, you can be saying this, but in a split of a moment you'll be doing something else. So I'm always protective over myself. So we drank. And it was just 2 or 3 beers. And then we're having a chat with you, watching TV. Out of nowhere, he grabbed me. And then took me down, fought and all of that stuff. But I was powerless. And then he raped, thinking that maybe I'm gonna change.
Wow. And I bet you the same motherfucker who did that horrible shit to her is still walking around acting as if though shit ain't happened. Gotta be triggered and shit, hoping you don't run into this nigga somewhere in the neighborhood. Cause again, this was somebody that was cool. We was drinking, we was chilling and shit. Alcohol got involved. So now you start feeling your bullshit, and now you're aggressively trying to assault me, thinking that I was just gonna let you do it and be, yes, do this to me. We talk a lot, or I hear a lot about accountability, and again, we throw this word out into the universe. I hope you motherfuckers is really learning how to be accountable of self. Above all things, BubzDaGawd is accountable for himself. Because I'm the only motherfucker that is really responsible for my life and my experience and my existence. But when you hold yourself accountable, you then now have the opportunity to help other individuals hold themselves accountable, especially when they doing shit outside of them that affects your ass. And to Queen Stevie's point, just like some of the men at Freaknik, when I put up that clip from the MTV documentary at the time, True Life, where one of the women there who wasn't even doing the most, she was doing the least. These men started ripping her clothes off, and there were other men around who literally sat there and watched. Just for these motherfuckers to then have a conversation later on that night about it, where there are men who literally said, well, you shouldn't be dressing like that then. Because if you dressing like that, that's showing me that you really want me. Bitch, I'll let you know that I want you by letting you know that I want you in particular. I don't need you to be guessing. If it's really about what's understood, needs no explanation, nigga, we know. And that even when these individuals do this shit, ain't nobody locked up, ain't nobody being held accountable, and then you have individuals who will sit there and make excuses for them. Oh, well, she must have enticed him or something. But it's the fact that they were ripping this woman's clothes off and men weren't trying to stop it and say, hey bro, what's going on? Hey bro, See, we ain't gonna stop and help people. But what if that was your sister, nigga, who was getting her clothes ripped off, or your mama that was getting her clothes ripped off, or your niece that was getting her clothes ripped off, or your goddamn cousin was getting her clothes ripped off? That y'all niggas would literally sit there and allow it to happen because we don't protect hoes until your daughter labeled a hoe.
Corner is only one of the many victims in South Africa's LGBTQIA+ community who have had hate crimes perpetrated against them. In 2021, deaths in this community reached double digits. In July last year, the Department of Justice said it dealt with 42 hate crime cases. Instead of pride parades, In 2021, angry community members took to the streets in protest against the rise in homophobic attacks.
So you have the queer community, and I'm gonna keep pausing, so because that one thing kind of scared me. I just hope we can get through the rest of this shit, because I really want y'all to see this and get my commentary on it. It's really good. But now you have people again in South Africa, again, where they legalized same-sex marriage in 2006, years before America did, you know, because America is the one that's influenced Africa to do the European shit. Meanwhile, they quote-unquote doing the European shit before the Americans, girl. Make that shit make sense. But they got out in the streets and were saying, hey, this shit is happening to us, especially when y'all are the only country that legalize same-sex marriage. There's a whole gay socialite that lives in South Africa by the name of the Sizwe with his fine motherfucking ass. Even though he kind of looked like Steve Harvey by the mustache and the teeth a little bit, it kind of fucked me up. But besides that, who literally wears lace fronts, who wears gowns, who can wear women's clothing, like he's very gender fluid with his expression, makeup and all that type of stuff, and he is loved, and he's like an A-list celebrity in South Africa. An individual who, mind you, got it out the mud, who parents or mother at the time was trying to help him get into the entertainment industry, and she was going every weekend to be able to help him do auditions. Got to a point to where that was too financially demanding for the family, so he didn't let that shit stop him. So he entered into a lot of contests and then ended up winning this free camera, which he started doing his own content, and now that shit skyrocketed to where he's doing big shit in South Africa. Meanwhile, there are other queer people in South Africa who, no shade, don't have the privilege that comes with being a celebrity, that comes with being a socialite, just being a regular schmegler everyday African, who are seeing things happen to people in their own community that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody know what's going on, to where it's like now we're getting out in the streets and we're demanding that y'all hear us, that there are things happening to us and y'all vow to protect us as citizens. That's what I mean about covert homophobia, queerphobia. I want y'all to understand that racism and queerphobia, all that shit's not dead. It just became covert. It just went underground. It's trying to be slick, aching and wishing and hoping for the day where it can finally emerge and be what the fuck it wants to be, and also make up for the lost time for being covert. Which is why the overt queerphobia is an onslaught. But let's continue to listen to the lives of queer people in another fucking country, another fucking continent.
Our fight is not just against others who are in parliament, but the people we live with every day. Our friends who love tokenizing us but aren't here to stand in solidarity with us today.
So the family members.
Do not blame us, do not shame us. We not blame, we not the names. We ask you with one hands off the community.
So not only are they dealing with the issue again with motherfuckers not really holding up their end of the bargain when it comes down to the protections and laws of the queer community, now they have to deal with family members who will ostracize them publicly to save face, but meanwhile will not stand in solidarity with them when they know and see that horrible shit is happening to the queer community, but then would have the fucking nerve that if their relative or family member or son or daughter died or lost their lives due to them being queer, would have the nerve to be sitting there snotting up, nose crying, mascara running, falling in the grave, having a goddamn nervous breakdown, talking about Lord no, take me, because again, the objective reality that you can't say sorry anymore, that you can't rectify the situation anymore, that you're gonna have to live with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas because your child is gone, and you realize that now that they're gone forever, ain't gonna never come back in this physical realm, all the other shit ain't really matter. So you'd rather go ahead and have that experience as opposed to loving and standing with your queer child or queer family member before their life unfortunately is taken from them. Wow. Come on, nuclear family. Yes, nuclear family, yes.
We're then begging the South African government to demand for actual change and actual shifting of these things that we're doing. This tiny little response here is the answer to one of the most horrible things that can happen to a citizen of a country.
Yeah.
No, you measure it.
And baby, that individual was passionate when they was talking. I felt it in my damn spirit. But see, again, what I'm realizing that people ain't gonna learn until it's them. They ain't gonna learn till it's them. Until they're now on the other side of the objective experience. But see, I feel like that's gonna have to happen. And I say it all the time. Everybody about to find out what it feels like to be a nigga, to be a fag, to be all the other negative derogatory terms that are used. In essence, we all about to know what the fuck it feels like to be oppressed. It's just that one particular side of the coin happens to have resources and stolen resources to use at that, to where they feel like objectively, I don't have to deal with accountability, bitch. I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm this. Okay, girl, you're forgetting the spiritual aspect. And baby, you ain't got to believe in the spiritual aspect, but it believes in your ass though. Y'all talking about y'all don't smoke weed now. Okay, baby. When the time does come though, cause it's coming, I'm not sharing none of my weed, bitch. Y'all ain't put in on this, so don't ask me for any of mine. Baby. Wow.
Honestly, it is so hard to believe that in all these years of advocating, of providing services, of providing spaces, of working with communities, working in schools, working with stakeholders, that we are still in a place where attitudes in many places have not shifted. And so we find ourselves today where we have had a spike throughout the country of murders perpetrated against LGBTI people. And that is a sad indictment on us as a nation, as human beings, that so easily a life can be snuffed out just for being who we are in the world.
Wow. That is crazy. And again, it appears that that same type of sentiment is growing in this country. And again, if we look at history, and I say this all the time and it sounds repetitious, but that's because I'm trying to get y'all to understand the objective truth. And if you are brave enough, I dare you to go check it for your motherfucking self. Bitch, that's what I'm asking you to do. But again, the 60s and 70s, there was an uprising. There was this level of inclusion that was happening. And then the 80s came about to where it was time to grab a damn broom and sweep up all the progress that these oppressed groups of people have done. Example again, the crack epidemic. White people buying cocaine, and cocaine dealers are getting lesser sentences, less severe sentences than those who sold crack cocaine, who were going to jail for extensive amounts of time. And in the words of Earthquake, one of my favorite comedians, bitch, only difference between that motherfucking long ass time in the pen, the short ass time, is baking soda. They giving a nigga 10 years for that recipe. Do you get what I'm saying? Fuck the black community up to where now you gotta get it out the fucking mud. Rap at that time was a conscious thing. And as much as that individual from the black Gen Z mindset was talking about motherfuckers on demon time, let's talk, and if it was a white Republican man, it would be a problem. But I'm guaranteeing you it's a white Republican man that's signing those motherfucking checks to those artists to promote that type of behavior to black people and that energy to black people. It's the same white men who are taking out insurance policies unbeknownst to the actual artist, so that when that artist dies, because again, the more tragic the death, the more profitable the artist becomes. And even Shaka Khan, Queen, said it, that someone told her, who was a record executive, that yeah, you're worth more dead than alive. Even the black militant groups like the Black Panthers, or anyone that was trying to do anything politically to help change the system to genuinely be inclusive and not just talk about it, but fucking say it, but actually do it, to practice what they preach. Every single one of those individuals were made fugitives by the United States government, to the point to where they were executed. The queer community, AIDS came out of nowhere and decimated the queer community to where people were dying in a matter of weeks, and in some cases days. Then comes the rise of the ex-gay movement, because the religious institution has controlled the narrative and said, I told y'all faggots not to do that shit. I told you that God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for that fag shit, and now you have it. It was called grids before it was AIDS. But then again, objectivity came about because we discovered that HIV and AIDS is not a queer disease that is, you know, exclusively to queer people. And unfortunately, black women have the highest rates of HIV, but it's still affecting the black community. So it works for the powers that be that don't want us to ascend. Women were told to get the fuck back in the kitchen, bitch. How dare you think that your ass can do a man's job? Even though that if I kick you in your vagina, that shit gon' hurt. But if you blow on my balls a little too hard, I'm on the floor, reduced down to a child. Even though you are an individual who gives birth and brings life into this world to the point to where you're pissing on yourself, shitting on yourself, or you're fucking creaming on yourself. to tell females, to tell women, shut up, bitch, make me a sandwich and come suck this dick, and damn you getting your orgasm, and damn you being happy. You're here to help serve me. You're my helpmate. You're here to help me, bitch. You're here to be in the background. When I snap my fingers, come to the forefront. Not in a loving way. Not in a way of I want to be with you and I care about you and I care about your life and the things that make you happy, and I'm so secure in myself that I don't mind my woman getting up and shining on her own without a nigga having to be the reason for it, because I married a free individual. That makes my life a lot easier because now I can continue to also focus on my own shit. So I ain't gotta be miserable like a lot of men that are married who are married to the wrong woman, which is why they stepping out on their marriages, but then have the nerve to open up their mouth on the queer community when you are literally destroying something that you said that God can only sanctify between a man and a woman, and meanwhile you're shitting on that sanctity, but want to talk about me not being able to be in touch with that sanctity because I'm queer. I said all that to say this. Again, we are in that energetic sphere or circle or cycle of rising and ascending, and I feel like the oppressed groups of people now are at a crossroads. We can keep doing what we've been doing because it worked for those before us, but the purpose of this generation is to be better than the previous generation, and for the next generation to be better than this generation, so there is a continual climb. If we keep doing the same shit we've been doing, I fear that the oppressed groups of people's experiences at large is going to be erased. And when I mean erased from this existence, physically, mentally, emotionally. All types of literature, all types of accounts of healthy queer living and experiences being completely removed from history. And for you evil sons of bitches who think that, I want you to understand all you're doing is just adding more to your cup of accountability. And I know some of the people who believe that, oh, we're hiding things in plain sight, so your subconscious is actively playing, so the black people can't talk about ascending because y'all kill each other. So if you're not going to stop killing each other, we're not going to stop killing you. It's like there is this talk that these oppressed groups of people cannot heal and be better, that they will always be less than. But then when those oppressed groups of people say, nah, bitch, fuck you. With God, all things are possible. My queer existence is included in that all. The woman experience is in the spectrum of the woman experience is included in that all. If those oppressed groups of people rise and ascend and is able to create and have their own self-agency, the game for the oppressors are over with. And them hoes are afraid to change because they've been taught nothing but oppressing other people. And if you deviate from this form of being oppressive, we're gonna oppress you. Okay. Well, when the time comes for every knee to bow and every tongue to confess, we gonna see. And I guarantee you it's not gonna happen in the way that a lot of your pastors and preachers have interpreted to be, because the majority of the motherfuckers are in no way, shape, form metaphysical, truly empathic, or know anything about the spirit realm. The majority of the motherfuckers only know about ain't he alright, ain't he alright, ain't he alright. No, nigga, is you alright?
It's quite traumatic to even just bring up what South Africa is experiencing for our queer communities. To just be queer and be out is quite a statement, and it's you risking your life to be able to just be yourself. it's quite scary to go like, hey, I want to be out and I'm choosing to be out. But some of my sisters and brothers in our communities and across South Africa have to hide what they're wearing, hide who they are, hide who they love it, because we're violently targeted, and it's really, I mean, it's on like a back burner in the government to just kind of be addressed, and yeah, it's quite sad.
Wow. So again, South Africa is a progressive place, legalizing same-sex marriage way before America did. And meanwhile, the things that are to further bring inclusivity and keep inclusivity alive in reference to queer experiences is again being put on the back burner. So it's like, how do y'all make this amazing monumental feat in reference to legalizing same-sex marriage and being the only African country to do it, to now literally ignoring your queer citizens? Interesting.
These are the people that I hang around with, because I don't want to be in trouble with the same age group as mine.
Wow.
It's the issue of hanging around with the same people, same mentality, so you will never gain anything. So if you have less information, you're gonna act less.
That part.
Because you have no information.
That part.
So it's a matter of, we need awareness, we need like many things. And then people around here, you can say this one is interested, but he's not interested to come out. So it's a matter of confidence, and it's a matter of like, there is less education, there is less awareness. So with little information, there's probably nothing you can do. So maybe they think mentoring us works for them.
That is the issue right there. Let's take it back to America. Now queerness, again, Title IX, including queer people. Let's include them. When it comes down to protections in reference to discrimination, no. Let's include them. Y'all can't even verify the shit that y'all saying any motherfucking way. Because despite all the information that is there, the rich awareness that is happening, to where even me as a queer person, I'm learning about queer history that I didn't even know. And we're alive in the information age where you can know if you want to. It is then your job to test out whatever it is that you are learning and try it out for yourself to see if that's the truth. And like she stated, you can only operate in what it is that you know. So if you ignorant, and when I say ignorant, I mean you simply don't know. But when you now have the information in front of you and you still make the choice to say, no, I don't believe that, and continue with your bullshit, then that's when you're willfully ignorant, and that is an issue and a problem. Because when the queer awareness is happening, you have people who are afraid of it. Because they think that for some strange reason, that if queer people were to connect with youth, that all of youth is going to be queer. And that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. And if you believe that, I don't even like talking like that, but girl, I'm going to talk about it today. You are an idiot. Because even if that was the case in reference to this world being just strictly queer, queer people still have the anatomy to bring life into this world. So even though it may not be in the conventional method that heterosexual people are used to, in which y'all abuse more so than queer people ever could, queer people could still bring life into this world, so there would still be life brought in here. I don't fucking understand. But see, when you want to be willfully ignorant, that's where it becomes dangerous, because now you're starting to make that choice to believe the shit that you want to believe. First of all, because you wrong and you know you wrong, but you afraid to be right. You wrong and you know you wrong, but you're afraid to be wrong because you want to be right so bad. When the right thing is saying, you know what, I am ignorant, I'm sorry, let me be educated. Because I don't know. But then get mad and feel some type of way when queer people decide to be petty and play that game of, well, I'm gonna act like I don't know either. Then all of a sudden now you gotta respect the heterosexual community. Are you what? Let's take it from America back over to Africa. Let's take it to Uganda, where the Ugandan president was asked, do you like gay people? Oh, no, I don't. They're disgusting from what I've heard. I don't know much about them, but from what I've heard, they're disgusting people. So you already going by word of mouth, not on direct experience. To where now all it took was one incident that they could control the narrative on and drive it so fucking hard because people are willfully ignorant, that now they found the golden ticket or the missing piece to bring all this shit together to where now, boom, anti-queer bill drafted, sent to the House, voted on, and in favor of, and now enacted, that is literally affecting the lives of queer people. And you have South African people, again, 2006, legalized same-sex marriage before America, who are literally fearful of their own experience. And I can only imagine what their fear is now, since Uganda and other countries are starting to follow suit in reference to the discrimination against queer people. And I'm going to sit up here and believe that it can't happen here in the good US of A. When you look at how the fuck this country was built, it was built on nothing but blood, sweat, and tears of the oppressed. All right. I like that transition they got. I'm gonna have to find that transition. That's kind of dope. Oh, her story ain't the only one.
On the eve of his 22nd birthday, Nonwabo Jack went out to celebrate with his friends in Inyanga East, Cape Town. But an evening meant for making happy memories will now be remembered for much worse. You let me down. My actions will be forgiven.
Our immediate action was to go and see. We didn't believe that he could be him. We were desperate to go and see and to witness what is being said.
Nonwabo was raped and murdered in an alleged homophobic attack. His body, riddled with stab wounds, was found next to a road. He was lying in a pool of his own blood.
Without a doubt.
So he was unalived and raped. And that's why when a lot of red pill niggas be saying, oh, well, you know, only gay men and only motherfuckers that have gay sex, y'all forget about the nuance and context of whenever there were prisoners of war, a lot of prisoners of war were raped. Not because, oh, this nigga we captured, I'm so glad we didn't kill you because, oh, his ass fat and look good and it's got the right jiggle to it. I'm finna tap you, walking past him and shit in the damn cell. You know I'm gonna fuck you tonight. I've been looking at your ass when you came in through the slave depot, bitch. When the lights are off, bitch, I'm gonna be here. You better be face down, ass up. It wasn't that. Grape is about having control over someone else. Remember in my journal entries when I spoke about me wanting to have control over other people, or shall I say control over the situation, because I wanted the situation to go my way and I had to deal with the only thing that I can control is me. I can't control other people. But there are some people who are so desperate for control that they will use grape as a means of that. So again, going back to the prisoners of war, it was used as a way of really demasculating you, which means that I'm going to do something to you and I dare you to try to stop me. I dare you to stop me. To where you have to literally lay there and take it and allow it to happen. So this man was unalive, stabbed up, and was raped. But according to y'all narratives, it's the queer men that are the grapists. They're the edophiles. They're the ones that's doing the Jeffrey Dahmer shit. They're the ones. That's what y'all saying. But meanwhile, look what happened to this queer person. Interesting.
He was openly gay. He was proud.
May he rest in power.
Even the family was proud. It's just unbelievable that he's gone, because he's a human.
I'm gonna let y'all know right now, if something happens to me because of my activism work, for the people that fuck with me, I'm gonna need y'all to go. And I'm so serious about this, because I'm not even playing, girl. Because type of motherfucker that I am, and the shit that I'm learning, and the shit that I want to delve into, bitch, girl, it's gonna be some afterlife shit I'm gonna do, girl. Before I go on to where I go, I'm gonna say, hold on, can I get at least 3 human days? Or give me a moment. Tell you something. Y'all better go to y'all motherfucking spiritual shop. I need y'all to get y'all a motherfucking white candle. Because when you look in Eastern countries, the color of death is not black, it's white. It's only black here in America. Interesting. Get a white candle. I want you to get some hot foot powder and any other sort of other type of oils and powders and shit that the spiritualists at the store can suggest to you. I want y'all to wait until a motherfucking new moon happens. And I want y'all to light that candle. And I want you to get a picture of me and put it up on the goddamn, wherever the candle gonna be at, bitch. And I want you to pray that karma is unleashed on the individuals who did whatever they did to me, baby. Because again, I'm not gonna choose to live in a world where fear is the only thing to subscribe to. Hell no, bitch. If that was the case, black people would have never escaped the plantation. And that's why I keep telling queer people, we gonna have to learn how to deal with the concept of death and accept death as a natural part of life, and then work through whatever motherfucking panic attack that happens during that awareness, and to use that newfound awareness to say, you know what, bitch, the money that I would spend on an outfit, or the money that I would spend on makeup, or the money that I would spend on other things that I like, let me go ahead and save my money up and invest in a motherfucking CPL. Let me invest so I can go ahead and go to the gun range and learn how to use my weapon. Let me go ahead and mentally prepare myself so that if, God forbid, I'm in this situation, I'm not stuck in the fight or flight mode, bitch. I know what I'm gonna choose, and then I can go to therapy and deal with the other shit afterwards. Because you're not gonna take me out based off of your low vibrational and willfully ignorant ass perception and understanding of a queer person. I don't even like talking like this, but I'm serious when it comes to that. It's one thing for you to not care about queer people or their lifestyle, but live and let live, nigga. Don't come over here and try to justify by using violence on how you're right, because you gonna fuck around and be able to ask the savior yourself. Jesus, what happened? Well, you was messing with that homosexual, and that homosexual lit your ass up, and now you here. You want me to show you your mansion, nigga? I'm low-key surprised you even got in here. Let me check the list again. You sure it's him? You sure it is daddy? Girl, we got the junior. You sure it wasn't the senior that's supposed to be here? Did you mix shit up?
He is not, he was not created by me or by someone else, only by God.
By God.
You weigh me down. My actions will be forgiven. When Andile Lulu Ntutela, another member of the LGBTQIA+ community, was murdered in the Eastern Cape in April, a group of protesters marched to Parliament. They handed over a memorandum in which they called for an urgent debate on hate crimes.
We're also here to call on government to finally step away from its complacency in dealing with hate crimes against queer people in this body. We want the hate crimes bill to stop sitting around in Parliament and actually get to the people, right? We want a debate in that national Parliament that actually discusses the real realities of queer people in this country and not the facade that is sold to us in our constitution.
The Prevention and Combating of Hate Crimes and Hate Speech Bill was introduced to Parliament in April 2018. But over the past 3 years, it's been gathering dust. And it will keep on failing to protect South Africa's most vulnerable citizens until it's processed and passed into law.
What is there to celebrate when our very own government still stands there and not passing the hate crimes bill? What is there to celebrate when many Africans and many South Africans are being murdered because of their sexuality? We exist in paper in this country. We exist in the constitution of this country. There's no action that our government is taking towards the perpetrators of this country that are attacking and murdering the LGBTQ community.
Wow. So again, there is a bill that is literally collecting dust. There are queer people in the small queer community, because again, y'all be believing that queer people is just this big ass community that's so overwhelming that, oh my God, heterosexual people run and our time is coming to an end. Who are talking about these experiences that are happening in their community, their friends, the people that they know, the people that frequent the spots that they go to, in one of the very, I'm pretty sure, few safe spaces for queer people to come together safely to be themselves. To then go to that same spot expecting for so-and-so to be in the cut and come to find out, oh, what's her name was unalived last night. And now that I think about it, when I bring it back to the whole, let's bring it back. We're gonna be doing a lot of jumping back and forth, okay? Time jumping, continent jumping, okay? To the black community. That's why I kind of go hard or very passionate in my delivery when it comes to the black community, because black people should be the most empathetic people on the planet. But then again, I believe that here in America, we become desensitized to black life being destroyed anyway, to where it's the norm, because that analogy I use about those individuals in Uganda and in other African places of where there's safe spaces for queer people, to have one of their people or people from their community slowly be taken out over a span of time. It could be the same thing in the black community where, oh, Mook Mook just got unalived yesterday. Now somebody else's son gotta die, to where now, oh damn, man, Mook Mook niggas came and took out Ray Ray. Now Ray looking for the mook nigga girl, kill some mook friend girl who cousin was loved them so much and they was cool. Now the cousin involved. Now motherfucking little stink is looking. It's just this ongoing cycle of bullshit. Make sure y'all hit that like button, and thank y'all for rocking with me. We are damn near 2 hours and 30 minutes into this live. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but it is what it is. Shit. At this point.
Law Professor Pierre de Vos supports the passing of the bill, but cautions that it alone won't necessarily have a significant impact on the lived realities of the LGBTQIA+ community.
So what the hate crimes legislation would do, it would say that if you commit a crime that's already a crime, like assault or rape or murder, and you do it because of the hatred or antagonism you have towards somebody because of their sexuality, then you will get a heavier sentence. Obviously, that alone, that's not a magic bullet, but it plays a symbolic role, obviously, in saying the state, we recognize that there are these hate crimes and that they are, in a way, even worse in the impact that it has on specific communities like the LGBTQ community. But that on its own is not going to begin even to address the problem, because the problem is societal prejudices. It is about inequality, economic issues, all of those things. And those things are difficult to change because they are structural.
Yeah.
In a statement,
he just nailed it on the head, y'all. When we talk about racism being institutionalized, queerphobia being institutionalized, patriarchy being institutionalized, it's a part of the framework. It is what's holding certain ideologies up that have been destructive and that are destructive. A wise mystic once said, girl, you could put these rules into place. It don't mean people gonna follow the rules, because people break rules all the time. You have people who are, and again, there are loopholes. Well, what's the loophole? If I can't discriminate against you, well, I'm just gonna use God to discriminate against you. I'm gonna use the Bible as a shield to be able to discriminate against you, and now you can't even get me, because who gonna get God? I love God. Obviously your fag ass don't love God, so at that point, what's wrong with you? And if that's the case, like I said, bitch, let the games begin. So if you a big Kimberell swollen triple-decker neck-ass chick coming inside of a damn fast food restaurant and your ass working the front line, and they walk in saying, hello, I would like, on a Sunday after church, I would like to be able to order a damn family-sized meal, please, even though ain't no family around because they the family, turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't serve you that. What do you mean you can't serve me that? What are you talking about? Well, it would be against my religious freedom to serve you that food. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why are you bringing God into this? Well, the Lord told me to tell you that I can't give you this food because you would be doing one of the 7 deadly sins, which is gluttony. And I'm gonna throw lust in there because the way that your coochie has been dripping on the floor as soon as you saw this goddamn menu with all these goodies and delectables on here, your big ass know you shouldn't be eating anyway. I'm going to deny you that, because if I give you this order of this family-sized meal and you're the family and you die of a heart attack or any sort of other stereotypical thing put on bigger people, guess the fuck what? I'm not going to compromise my ticket into heaven. So I'm gonna tell your big ass that you can't eat this. I can offer you a salad, or maybe I can offer you a appetizer meal. Maybe that can help you. Play the game with them. Get into it. Oh, well, since we're going to play what's in the book, let's play what's all in the book. So that means going to Red Lobster. That means going to the Crab Shack. That means going to all these seafood boil places and boycotting them and picking them and saying, the Bible says that y'all shouldn't be eating this. Why are y'all just leaving church and not going to get a seafood boil? Why? That's against the Bible. That's against Leviticus. Come here, sir. Are you wearing a shirt that is 70% Ry'Yon and motherfucking 30% motherfucking polyester and it's not 100% nothing? You're going to hell. You shouldn't wear two different fabrics weaved together, baby. If it can't be inclusivity when it comes to queerness, there could be no inclusivity when it comes to fabrics, bitch. And you know gays know about fabrics statistically. Excuse me. I get to talking fast, baby, and my mind be thinking faster than my mouth. And if you a woman, if you a female, you can't say a goddamn thing to me because I'm a man, I'm a male, and I got a dick, which means that by law, by natural law of God, I have sovereignty over you. You shouldn't be talking to me anyway. Where the fuck is your husband? Because it says that your husband is supposed to stand in for you. Women's supposed to be there and be quiet, shut the fuck up and look good. That's what the Bible say. And we can delve even deeper into this shit, okay?
The Department of Justice and Correctional Services in August last year said the processing of the bill was delayed as they awaited the Kwelani Constitutional Court judgment. The judgment related to offensive language used towards the LGBTQIA+ community. They said a date will be announced in the near future for the opening of the Hate Crimes Bill for public engagement, an integral part of the processing of the bill in Parliament. Sharon Cox, founder of the Triangle Project, an NPO offering professional services to the LGBTQIA+ community and their allies, believes civil society needs to rise up and pressure government into action.
In terms of government silence and therefore lack of political will, you don't hear the president come out making strong statements and having the same impetus that you saw government having around other cases. There was a spate of young women being murdered, for example, and that the president came out and made very strong statements.
I know what you're all going through.
But not without civil society rising up and saying enough is enough.
So the queer community is rising up and saying enough is enough in reference to how you treat us, and we're not getting any sort of recognition, even though, again, we as South Africans have been recognized as being the very first, one of the first countries to legalize same-sex marriage. And the only African country at that has legalized it. And the same people that helped put y'all on the motherfucking world map, girl. Now you're not even listening to those people. And I mean, that's always been the case when it came down to oppressed groups of people. Just like with this whole political climate, let's bring it back to America. 2024, blackness is definitely going to be on the ballot. Queerness is definitely going to be on the ballot. Women's rights is definitely going to be on the ballot. There's going to be a lot of things on the ballot. That is literally going to change the lives of so many others. And we're used to garner votes. We're used for publicity. We're basically being exposed. We're not exposed. That's not the word I'm looking for. We're being exploited. It was another X word, excuse me. We are being exploited. Our gifts and talents are being exploited. Our existence is being exploited. Y'all talk all this shit to get in these positions of power and then forget about the people who were campaigning for you. And for the Republican people who are telling other people, well, the queer community and the black community, y'all can come over here. We just, look, we may not be on that racist shit and queerphobia, but we drinking queerphobia light. We're drinking racism light. I used to hate niggers, but they're okay now. I used to hate fags, but they're okay now. It's hard to believe, y'all, when we see the perspectives of what y'all believe and what y'all think literally playing out in another fucking country across the world. That what you so desperately are trying to attempt to do here, you have unfortunately succeeded in another country. But yet again, Christianity and supremacy is used to conquering shit. They're not used to being conquered. But see, none of you niggas want to do these type of extensive ass lives in the red pill community. Y'all be having 6, 7, 8, 9 motherfuckers up there. There should be a big bomb, dope ass fucking conversation, and it becomes a stupid, useless, emotionless, awareness ass echo chamber of ignorance and bullshit. Meanwhile, again, the queer people, the oppressed groups of people, have to work twice as hard. I was trying to do this live earlier. I wasn't trying to be doing this live until motherfucking 8, 9. I was gonna work out and watch the rest of season 1 of Hannibal. Now I gotta do this shit later, but I had to put in the extra work to be able to make sure that what I'm saying gets across, because I actually put the work in. Just for these niggas to sit up here and completely disregard everything that I share. Again, like I said in this doc, the information is given to you. There's no reason for you to be ignorant now, and you still choose to be ignorant and then make ignorance a privilege. To use privilege as a shield. Gotta find that transition. No pun intended.
But until the laws of our Constitution are adopted into the minds of our citizenry and steadfastly upheld by the rule of law, access to safe spaces is a crucial step in protecting members of this community, specifically in areas with fewer resources. The only time I can go out around here is when I'm in town. What's the kind of life is that? And then don't forget, from here to town is like 30 minutes. So in order for me to feel like I'm safe, I'm free, I need to be in town because I know there are securities, policemen are always running around. So why can't we have the same privileges as here? Because what they can do, they can secure this place if they want to.
I think it's really, really sad, and it's predominantly for me, yes, we all want to have fun somewhere, but more importantly, when there aren't safe spaces, it's literally about safety. And I'm sad that there are a lot of queer spaces closing down at the moment because of COVID and not being able to survive. It's not just a sad thing because we can't all like dance and have fun together. It's a sad thing because sometimes it's the only place where you can be queer and not be in harm's way for it. And not having that is like life-threatening.
Continue.
More so than I think people realize when they just go like, oh, you all just want to party. It's not about partying, it's about being able to be ourselves and express ourselves in a space that's safe.
Dr. Links.
That part, that's literally it. That's literally it. You even have heterosexual women that go into queer spaces and feel safe. The times that I used to go to Gigi's here in Detroit, I would see a bunch of women, oh my God, I just got married, oh, I just got divorced, oh, I'm turning 40, all different type of shit. They showing their titties and shit because they know ain't nobody in there really gonna be like, ooh, I want to see what that's about. Now, there are some heterosexual men that will go into gay places and pretend they gay just to be able to take advantage of women. Have we not forgotten about the movie Boat Trip? And the fact that they just stated that the spaces where they can feel safe and be safe without any sort of preconceived notion or judgment placed on them, that those spaces are slowly being shut down one by one. So now your places of being free and being yourself are now being limited because they can't survive because of the societal framework around queerness. To the point to where it's like, now where do we go? And then what happens if it gets down to one central spot, and then there are individuals who start having those very dark conversations where they feel like they're hearing from God to go ahead and go to that queer place and light that bitch up like they did Pulse nightclub here in America? The opportune time to get as many queer people as possible because they're in one space and in one place.
McLean, a researcher who specializes in LGBTQIA+ identities and communities, highlights why access to these spaces is so important.
We've got only a small handful of safe queer spaces, LGBTQ spaces. And those are quite significant because, you know, outside of those spaces, there are very few spaces where people are safe. We've seen the what seems to be a spike in homophobia-related crimes, or hate crimes, as we call them. And I think it's very difficult to judge whether you're safe in any particular space. So if you are in a space, for instance, like, you know, the Rapture Room in Cape Town, that's very clearly a safe state, or support group space, such as those hosted by NGOs, such as the Triangle Project, for instance, then you know you're with your people, essentially, and you are hopefully safe in that space, and that you have solidarity, so there are other people like you in the space who can stand up. But outside of that, it's very difficult.
The Rapture Room in Cape Town is an example of a queer-friendly space that has had to close its doors due to COVID-19 and the associated economic pressures. Owner Amy Lilly is concerned that an already small industry is shrinking even further.
Just in the past year and a half, with COVID, being a business owner by myself, I can't take the continued financial knocks that is happening because of the continuing pandemic. So I've made the decision to close, just because I financially can't support this anymore, even though I love it so much. Because spaces allow people to build a community, a sense of trust, a sense that they're being seen by other people, that they're important. So if there's not a lot of them, then that might die.
So for the queer people in the comment section, I would like to ask you a question. How would y'all feel if the spaces that you go to that are affirming or inclusive to your expression of life, how would you feel if those places were slowly but surely being taken down one by one? How would you feel? Would you feel scared? Like, let me know your thoughts.
Its goal has always been to push people out and to keep certain people in, because people don't have access to this area, and I think that's a big problem with the queer community. And I would love to do more outreach in townships. It makes me sad that I can't reach everyone with a space just because of where we're located and how everything's been set up in our country. But it definitely is a big problem that we should address as a queer community, and we should stand up for more. That everyone should have access to queer spaces.
we've often spoken about LGBTQ plus people in terms of their sexuality. And we don't really think about them as having multiple lived experiences or multiple forms of oppression. So for race in particular, particularly because it's part of their space, so the continued structural inequality and class. So you're not able to access these spaces, which are still predominantly white and still very wealthy.
It's not good enough to be able to say only if you live in one of the big metropolitan areas can you access services, because often the people who need the services most are the ones who do not live in big city centres. Our struggle is often, and the struggle for many other NPOs and NGOs and CBOs, is that rural areas are often left out. And even for ourselves, it is intense work, it's resource intense work, it is difficult often to find funding to be able to do that kind of work and to provide the services that you want to provide in rural areas.
Sibusiso Nkqubeka co-founded the Kulani Khayelitsha Queer Hub in 2008 as a safe space for the LGBTQIA+ community, offering a haven for people rejected by their families and a space to share their experiences.
People have different experiences, if I could say. Let me start with me, for example. I was being beaten because of my sexuality, thrown with stones, called with words, but most of the LGBTI community goes through, more especially the African gay men go through on a daily basis in this country and into our communities. So people, some of them were raped because of their sexuality, some were beaten because of their sexuality, some were thrown out of their homes because of their sexuality. So
this is this is not just an American thing, people. As much as we believe, homosexuality is a European thing, it only happens with European and all this shit, it's very interesting that the rejection of queerness is universal as well. Because the same shit that he just stated, that he went through and the other queer South Africans went through, can literally be the same experiences energetically that a lot of Americans, especially Black Americans, queer Black Americans, have experienced about being kicked out of their homes, about being beaten. Deshaun shared many articles with me in reference to, again, having their little children, in essence, be raped by grown women to make sure that their sons don't, quote unquote, go that way. It is a fear. That's why I keep saying at the end of the day, it's a fear, it's a fear, it's a fear. Y'all are afraid of queer people. That's why we say queer phobia. Y'all are afraid of queerness. You are. I just wish y'all would be honest and say it. It's very cringy when y'all sit up here and pretend like that's not the case, when you know, I know, and Jesus and the 12 disciples and motherfucking Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles and Helen Keller and all of the people, girl, can see and hear what the actual truth is.
It's when I saw the need, actually, to start the organization that I have today.
Sibusiso focuses on providing services in less privileged areas outside of the city, where there are fewer safe spaces available, and where LGBTQIA+ people face even more threats for being who they are.
The fire is there. It is there where we stay. That's where it's in the heart of Khayelitsha, the heart of Kukuleti, the heart of Nyaka. That's where the issues are. That's where the social issues are. Not here in town. Here in town, everything is fine. You walk gaily, you do whatsoever, because you are protected and you are walking within the privilege. You understand? And there in Khayelitsha, it's another story.
Free Gender offers a safe house for lesbian women in Khayelitsha who have been victims of hate crimes like corrective rape and have nowhere else to go.
People don't understand and they don't want to learn. You see, this thing of them that is instilled in their minds will never change. You see, as much as we keep on educating people. And like, I don't understand why we should educate people of who we are, you see. And when we say that we want them to tolerate us, it means that we want them to, we're more like saying that we want them to they're owning this world, and we are just here because we are just here. So,
or in essence, live and let motherfucking live. If I'm not harming myself objectively, if I'm not harming others objectively, let me live my life. If I want to hold my nigga hand walking down the street, how the fuck is that affecting your life personally? Let me know. How? Me getting married to my husband, how is that fucking up your life? Me kissing my partner, how is that fucking up your life? Like, I need you to explain that, and nobody can. And as much as you believe that queer people are not part of the experience, no matter what your interpretation of the Bible may say, bitch, at the end of the day, God, source, universe, consciousness has allowed for us to be here, and to be here since the beginning of time. Scientists have confirmed that queerness is a part of this spectrum that they don't even fully understand, and that even heterosexuality is a spectrum, and that they don't even understand that fully. Why don't y'all go ahead and let God be God? Because God don't need none of y'all motherfuckers' help.
People hate what they don't know, as I said, so they don't want to learn, and they stubborn.
I won't even bother to go to the police station. For instance, in something like a rape, they can say this person is not guilty until found guilty. So my resolution is it doesn't help. Instead, you go in to create a bed space from where you stay. Because after reporting that guy getting arrested for those 24 hours or whatsoever, he comes back and you are dead. According to the so-called system, is no longer working for the people. We need new laws, we need new rules. In fact, we need new history.
There's so many unreported cases, to be honest with you. There's so many guys who came to me. They can't go to the police station to report the cases. You know why? Because the prejudice and stigma is within the SAPS services, the institution itself. If you go to the police station, for example, you'll be laughed. If you let's say you're gay and you got raped and you go to the police station, you go to report the case, you'll be laughed because you are gay. You've been raped by another man. We became a laughing stock.
And not even that, you are not a man. Or on top of that, you are a man. Why you ain't fight him off? Why you ain't whoop his ass? Why you ain't allow it to happen? I mean, why did you allow it to happen? You're the fucking police, which means that you are a servant of the fucking community. And if something happened to someone in the community, it is your duty to at least investigate and see if that is the case. And some of you motherfuckers ain't gonna even do that because, again, you're a man. Are you kidding me? Because if I was in that situation, okay, well, your bitch ass is not in the situation. That person is, and that person is coming to you asking you for help. Get up off your ass, stop inhaling those goddamn donuts, bitch, and do your fucking job.
So many people don't go to report their cases, and so many people don't go to seek medical attention because we have become a laughing stock instead of getting the help that we require.
In response to a list of questions sent by News 24, the Western Cape Police said they'd issued a standard of operating procedure to respect, protect and promote the rights of LGBTQIA+ persons. They also promised that more swift action would be taken if these standards weren't met. According to police spokesperson Colonel Andre Trout, a guide on protecting LGBTQIA+ persons had also been provided at all community service centres at more than 150 police stations. This guide contains prescripts on how to work with members of the community when dealing with complaints of this nature. Members of the public are encouraged to bring forth any grievances to the police's internal complaints channel.
If the motherfucking parliament and government ain't gonna listen, what the fuck makes you think the police are gonna listen? If motherfuckers outside marching to be heard in front of these government buildings, and these government buildings are not being opened up to these people, or you don't have government officials meeting in the streets with these people to listen to their shit, what makes you think that the police are going to listen, at least at large? See, fuck a written statement. Where is the actual action statement at of you walking the shit out? Because if that was the case, the people wouldn't be marching in the streets, and the motherfucking queerphobia that has become violent and helping to unalive queer people would not be in the double digits in that area.
To start with the way that we are thinking first, and then we need action from government, because people from township have been like sidelined, and then we need new management. We need us to change that. People that are not selfish. Sometimes it's not about the money. The people need we need help. Around here, there's unemployment, people are getting drunk, kids starting from the age of 16.
The biggest challenge right now, we do not have a support system, to be honest with you. That's the major part. If we could have perhaps a support system when it comes to our the social ills that are happening in our communities, we need a support system. A healthcare support system, a social ills support system, that kind of a triangle thing. We need that kind of support. There are so many ideas and so many plans in place that we have come out with, strategic planning that we have, but we cannot be able to implement them into our communities because we do not have the resources and the funds.
It is clear that a significant amount of financial and political input is required to address this crisis and to aid organizations and activists already working to create change. But until such time, community members and leaders remain determined to fight.
And again, this was 2 years ago, this documentary.
If I can go back to the month of May, we've attended almost 5 marches where we march because of hate crime. So it's sad that each day we lose people who are part of us. You see? So one thing I can say is that, and that I always say is that, the fight will never end. So if this continues, we will fight until we die.
I have lots of gay friends that have been killed. And it's very painful because I can't do anything about it. They only still live in my memories. I'm very proud. I'm 100% proud to be gay. And I wouldn't change it even one day to be something else.
So y'all, that was the live. Let me look at y'all comments before I go ahead and go. Let me see where we at. Deshaun says, I feel sorry for that poor woman that actually had to have a weapon all the way around the room to the point where she had to smash a glass bottle to protect herself too. Yep. Patriarchy ownership. That's what those men in the red pill communities want. They want to own women and hate queer people. And it will mess up his psyche, and that's exactly what she said. It will mess him up forever. Y'all seen that movie, I Spit on Your Grave? I know you know women are no longer putting up with BS. I gotta see what that's about. Let me see. They're only narcissists just because of their fathers. They had to do that, and even if they were telling their fathers that they were gay, actually those people that are straight would tell you a story that they was gay. But that's the thing, Bubs. What if that was your sister or some man ripped her clothes off? Well, it's not going to happen to their sister unless it happens to them. The way I tell my sister, I say, look, girl, God forbid, if something happened to you, you better fuck a nigga up, girl. You better have a nigga traumatized, bitch. You better have all type of DNA underneath your damn nails, in between your damn teeth, girl. You better have that nigga eyeball in your hand, bitch, because you fuck with my sister, girl, you gonna lose something. You ain't just gonna walk away from this shit unscathed, bitch. Okay? We both a little crazy, and we reserve the crazy for the most extreme measure, girl. So if you try her or me, I'm gonna be praying for you, bitch. Like that nigga said, if you see me fighting a grizzly bear, bitch, help the bear, help the nigga fucking with us, girl. Cause it's gonna be real demon time, girl. All that self-love shit gonna go out the window, bitch. It's gonna be hate. I'm gonna give you the mirror experience of what you want, girl, in a way that you didn't think was gonna happen. Deshaun says, here's another one. Why don't these men come out and tell the truth about who they is and stop infecting women with HIV, or they don't say anything as long as it's not their daughters that's getting infected? But at the same time, what do you think it comes from? The DL culture, and sometimes sexually transmitted disease can affect the woman of who she's having sex with, that she's already got it. Like I said, let people be who they are. Let people be authentic. Let people be loving. Self-hating, because this is what the families do. They force the kids to hate themselves. Yeah. And that's you over here enjoying your caramel craze ice cream. Ice cream sound good right now. Let me see. What else y'all got? They're dealing with internalized homophobia and transphobia, and they won't change until they realize it could be someone in their family who's in the community. And that's the thing. What you resist will always persist. For a lot of you queerphobic people, y'all about to manifest a lot of queer shit around y'all. I want y'all to know that, because you're unconsciously giving your energy to the fear aspect of queerness, that you gonna literally help manifest what it is that you scared of, so you can't blame nobody but your damn self. Queen Stevie says that part, Deshaun. Conservatives do that ish. They will blame the queer community and us and use us as a talking point. If not us, then God. Like we minding our own business. Don't put us in your bullshit. That part. That part. LGBT people and women are resisting, and rightfully so. This is a new generation. And like I said, this is a new era. A new age, the age of Aquarius, the age of truth, the age of objectivity, the age of transformation, low-key the age of death. Like this is a transformative age. And a lot of things that thought that it was impenetrable, that thought that wasn't vulnerable, that thought it was invincible, that thought that nothing can destroy it or shake it, those institutions, those thought processes, ideologies, hierarchies, all those things are being broken down, and that's due to natural selection. Because y'all love talking about queer people not being part of the natural experience, even though I'm breathing natural air at almost 33 years old. So obviously the universe knew that my ass had a reason and a purpose to be here. But like I said, maybe it's gonna take everybody having to know what it feels like to be a nigga and be a fag in order for there to be some change. And it's so sad it will have to be that way, but God is in all things, even in destruction. Because if we're gonna be quote unquote fighting for our lives, even if we die, baby, I'm not gonna be the only one going. I want you to understand that. If I am ever a quote unquote victim of a hate crime, bitch, I guarantee you, God be my witness, baby, I won't be the only one going out. I'm gonna take a few of the perpetrators with me just so that further and future queerphobic people know that the narrative is changing and we ain't gotta have the motherfucking laws placed in Congress for there to be a change, bitch. I can use my own individual life in the defense of that bitch in order to help change the narrative. And the way that the universe has been blessing a nigga in reference to the gifts and tools and resources that I need to be able to bring some of the ideas and film ideas and music ideas I have to life, or y'all think y'all triggered now, in the words of Nicki Minaj. I guess we'll all play the reindeer games. If we gonna do this shit, let's do this shit. In order to get respect, you gotta give respect, and queer people are due their respect. To the point to where trans women at large have stopped using the word cis, even though cis is a scientific term that literally means I'm not trans. But then again, the queer community has to fucking bow to your ignorance. Meanwhile, you get to be ignorant to us and we supposed to fucking take it. It be the ignorant, dumb, stupid shit like this that creates the Magnetos of the world. And no shade, some of the shit that Magneto has been saying, especially in this X-Men 97 excerpt, girl, is starting to make more and more sense. That all these oppressed groups of people are trying to do is trying to fucking live and be. But see, you have been taught that you need them in order to exist. When it comes to queerness, baby, Christianity needs queerness to survive. Christianity needs queerness as a form of its sustenance because it needs something to judge. It needs something to label as cardinal. Something to be looked upon. A scarlet fucking letter. Meanwhile, if we were to really cut up the brightness in this dark ass room, the same motherfuckers who are very queerphobic are the ones who are doing the most evil shit in the dark. So, in closing, queer people, especially my trans sisters of color, it's time for you to invest in self-defense. Whether that's an in-person class, whether that's watching shit on goddamn YouTube and practicing that shit in the comfort of your own home. If that means getting you a CPL, which I would suggest. If that means getting you some home defense because your body is your home, wherever you is home, in the words of the great T.S. Madison. Make sure you have shit on you, and let me tell you something. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I'd rather be safe than sorry because I realize the world that we live in, and I and you have a right to live. talking about morality. You have people that are literally sanctioning the unaliving, the murder of innocent people. Anyway, if you can, please hit the like button, okay? Because it helps this channel to grow in the algorithms. All right? If you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my live and edited content. And if you want to learn more about queerness and work through your queerphobia and actually tap into a deeper level of humanity, please make sure you subscribe. If there's anything that I said or that was shown in this live that spoke to your spirit and you feel like you want to share it on your social media platforms to create and generate conversations in other spaces, please do so and tag me in it as well. I'm BubzDaGawd on everything. And if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit a nigga up in the Cash App, $ BubzDaGawd. We take everything that jingle and fold, baby. We LGBT, BLT, TLC, DVD, MSNBC, Telemundo. We're everything, girl, when it comes down to the Cash App, okay? Shout out to King Deshaun and Queen Stevie for being, again, another inspirance for this live, okay? I'm gonna have to definitely get back because they sent me some ex-gay shit, so I definitely want to get into that as well. I want to say shout out to Spicy TV, shout out to Queen Spicy, shout out to you, shout out to Queen Donna in the building, okay? Shout out to everybody, okay? I hope that you guys enjoyed this live in reference to the information. And queer people, continue to do your self-work, continue to love yourself and protect yourself, okay? And until next time, everybody, peace.